G'day everyone, I'm Ben and this is Counterfeit Christianity. I am feeling pretty good today. Got up early again, just got back from the gym. Yeah, I'm thankful this morning to be here. I was having a shower last night and it popped up again, and this extra part of understanding for me that just like solidifies more of what I think is real, is what God is sharing with me about family and about a relationship with Him and about other things like that. And it connects with the idea around the video that I did that God doesn't care about what you call Him. He doesn't care about the name that you call Him, that you can connect with Him in any place in life. You don't have to be Christian. Christianity does separate you from an authentic relationship with our Creator, our Daddy, as much as every other system does, as much as every other religion does. And like we said before, the Bible is also a God that will separate you from a relationship with God. If you take that and put it as more important, if you believe it is His word, if you believe that the living God, our Daddy, the Creator of the world, wants you to relate to Him through a book, then you're on the wrong track. You're missing the relationship with Him. A lot of people say, well, it's really important. I say, it might be important, but it's not that. It's not. And I actually believe that it's not important, because when you're in relationship with Him, it doesn't mean anything at all, really. It's just another place for the other religious types to try and criticize you from. It's what people love to do in this world of Christianity and rules and religions and restrictions. Everyone likes to tell you that they know so much so that they can criticize you from that. But that's not the way that God created us. He created us to be with Him in an authentic relationship. And this is where it comes into what I've been thinking about. As some of you guys know, if you hang around and have watched some of my videos before, you know that I've spent most of my life in Thailand. I was there from when I was 17 and some years before that, off and on. And then I got to know Thai culture very well and some of the other Southeast Asian cultures around it. Spent a little bit of time around there. And how I would describe it in a really simple way is that Thai culture is a family culture, especially my wife's family. They're really strong and they help each other out and all that sort of stuff. I didn't know what family was being brought up in Australia. There's so many other expectations and agendas around you that family is usually pushed to the last thing. Family means absolutely nothing in Australia. And what I've noticed is that when families look strong, it's because they have something on the kids. They use shame to try and coerce them to being together. But most people, when they grow up, they want to leave. They want to be separate because that is our culture. Western culture is a culture of smashing families. And what they're trying to bring back now, that I guess is the first step to bringing back true family. A multi-generational family is what we're designed to be in, with grandfathers, aunties, uncles all together, looking after each other. But some people are trying to bring back this idea of the nuclear family, right? This small family, mum, dad, kids. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's great. It's true. And that's just like, I guess, the core of what true family actually is. Multi-generational family is everybody. Aunties, uncles, grandparents, cousins, everyone who's actually together and looking after each other. But that never works in Western society anymore because we've been cursed for so long and they've been stripping that away from us for so long that nobody can authentically look at themselves enough to be able to accept other people as they are. If you look at every family, even the best looking ones, they're not doing too well, that's for sure. Something else that stuck out to me the other day is when I was thinking about what God wants us to call Him, and He asked me to call Him Daddy. A lot of people really, really hate that, I see. We've never experienced what a good dad is. And I explained my story a little bit. My dad was really harsh and he used to flog me, and I was resistant to calling the Creator of the world, the living God, Daddy when He told me to. But now it feels like the best thing ever. I can call Him that all the time and it feels so natural because it's taken me probably a couple of years, more than that He's asked me to call Him that. And so now it feels free and great. But I understand when people don't like that because we've never had a good example of a true loving daddy in our lives. We've never actually met a man like that before because the world lies to us and tells us what men should be, but it's not true at all. And there's this resurgence of cold, callous men, and you see it in Christianity all the time. These book worshippers, these men of the book, I like to call them, and they're so cold, they're so callous. There's no feeling in them. It's all about what they can prove and logic, and this is what is true and this is what is not true. And then that just kills everybody's hearts around them, and it makes their women cheat because there's no freedom, there's no safety, there's no love in any of these relationships. And then there's the exact opposite of the weak, passive man who does the exact same thing when the world tramples all over him and takes his soul away. And yeah, neither of those are good, but that's pretty much both examples of what men are like in this world. And everything flows from men. Men allow things to happen and they make things happen. If they continue on being good leaders of themselves first, and gentle, good leaders with their families, then the world will be fixed. Young men stand up and say, no, I've had enough. I don't want to fit in with this system. I want to be free, and I want to take my family along this journey of freedom with me. Then we would be free. And I want to bring back this idea of multi-generational families to us in our Western culture. I think pretty much all of them are the same. I don't know too much about other places, but I know what I see, and that's pretty much it. And I know there are probably some really great multi-generational families out there, but the best example I have of that is my wife's family in Thailand, and their family is an anomaly. They're not usual. In Thailand it's the same, it's just that they hang around together. Like, families are closer there, but they're not actually better at it. It's just that their culture is a culture of family. That usually they put family first, and it doesn't always work out well because they use shame tactics in that culture as well. But I've noticed that in my wife's family they have a lot of freedom, and they're all together, at least. And they help each other out when the shit hits the fan. And that's what I want for my family. It's really hard because of the stuff that's happened in our lives, and it probably will never get to that. But I want to at least help my kids and my small family, the nuclear family that I have, be able to start building that from me, from my choices and the way that I treat them, that I'm glad to be with them no matter what, no agendas, no expectations, and just absolute love no matter what. And I'm striving for that. I'm striving to be that. And it's slowly but surely coming out. The way that I strive to be that is by being with my daddy. And he shows me what's good and brings good into my life and makes good things happen. And that is an absolutely free and spontaneous journey that you get brought along when you just intentionally look for him and try to be with him. And that's the journey. That's pretty much it. Like, it takes a long time because you're not the one making things happen. You're just being with God, and he brings the things that you need to see, and he brings the places that you need to grow in to you. And it's really hard because at first you don't want to go into those places, to find that when it's really hard and you're looking at yourself, it's really difficult. The journey of freedom is looking at yourself and finding out why you feel things and why you think things and why you believe things. And then you can be free from all those because you're in a relationship with the living God. But yeah, this idea that God doesn't care about his name. Like, I know that when we're little kids, we don't know our parents' name, and we don't really know our grandparents' name. Like, my kids, they didn't know their grandparents' names until very recently, because they don't care, because they're just in relationship with their grandparents. In Thailand, it's Da and Yai, and in Australia, they call my mum Nan and my dad Pop, and so they know them as that, and they know me as Dad, and they know my wife as Man. And it's like, that's what we do. We live our lives with our family in that way. We know that our aunties and uncles in Thailand, when you marry somebody, you call their mum and dad, and they call your mum and dad. It's a family culture. We don't know what their names are, and it has no meaning. It means nothing. In relationship, people's names don't mean anything. The only time that names mean something is when you're not in relationship. It's just people on the outside. And it's like, oh, that's just John, he's my friend. That's what it is, because you're not in relationship. You might know them, you might know him by his name, but you don't actually know who he is, and you've never actually been with him. If you can't reflect on yourself, if you feel like Daddy is a bad name for God and it doesn't make sense and it's immature and it's babyish, then reflect on why that is happening inside of your heart. It's a journey, it's a place for growth for you, because that's, if you actually believe the Bible is God's word, it says that very specifically, that he accepts little children as that, and be as little children. Like, people are so blinded by their indoctrination that they get so angry by somebody with a message of freedom that they actually want to be put in hell by their God, by their loving God, the loving Christian God. They actually prefer the hell of that because it's something that they can know and they've experienced it before. But something new, something that makes you feel something, is frightening. I get it. Just shut your fucking mouth if you're speaking like that, because this is your hell. Like, I've spoken about this before, but when 1,000 words underneath in the comments saying how I'm wrong and be careful what you say, be careful, the loving God, the loving Christian God is going to burn you in hell. You're better off shutting your fucking mouth, because you're just spreading your hell. You're trying to spread your hell and fear to other people. And just look at yourself. Look at what you're feeling and why you're feeling it. The things that you think that you like, they're not even yours. You can't even see clearly enough. You've been given everything that you think and feel. Everything that is coming into your mind is from somewhere else. And I don't want any of those things from other people. I want to think and feel things from the living God, from my daddy, from the creator of the world. And he gives that to me. People who don't understand that possibly never will, because they're not willing to look at themselves. But I call him daddy because that's who he is. And that's what he told me to call him. I know that it's very, very offensive to most Christians because they don't want to believe that the living God is their daddy, because that means that their daddy's evil and he wants to kill them and put them in hell for what they've done. Just intentionally be with him. Try and push aside all these lies that are on your head, these things that are crushing your soul. I understand it because I was part of it. And I used to do that to my family. And I've decided to look to God and be with him, to be with my daddy. And slowly but surely, spontaneously, he brings these good things. Everything good comes when I am with him. But yeah, like always, this is my understanding. I don't know shit. Freedom is really hard to catch because we're trying to free ourselves from the chains that have been thrown over our shoulders our whole life. Ask him what he wants you to call him, and then he'll probably tell you. But I have a sneaking suspicion it might be something like daddy. Anyway, I really do appreciate you guys, and I'll see you next time.